Opps is a slang that hip-hop artists integrate in their releases like clockwork. This word depicts opposition stemming from gang rivalry or a prolonged beef.
And I'll fucking see me suck my got no money on you. You are bum.
And when opposing sides meet in the real world, a fracas that prompts life-threatening injuries or worse, death breaks out. Here are some rappers who caught their oops, or affiliates, in real time, and what transpired after the sighting. King Von. King Von and NBA Youngboy grew up on the streets of O'Block and Baton Rouge, respectively, before heading into the booth to release hip-hop tracks that'll change the trajectory of their lives. Although both individuals kept to their respective lanes and had no run-ins with each other at the elementary stages of their careers, King Von kick-started a beef that'll ultimately lead to his untimely demise. In 2018, an Instagram Live video showed King Von listening to NBA Youngboy's Play With Us single and letting out inciting statements.
Young boy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
He talking crazy on this one.
Oh, yeah?
He ain't even like that.
Oh!
On this man. Cap. You got cap in your raps.
These statements insinuated that the street-related lyrics Youngboy had used in the song didn't align with his actual street experience. Ouch! Although NBA Youngboy was known for his lightning-fast clapbacks, especially on disses questioning his street credibility, he let it slide even though many assumed that he'd gotten wind of Von's disrespect already. Things between both rappers stayed calm for over 2 years after King Von's earlier diss, with fans suggesting that they were staying under the radar to prevent scrutiny from the authorities due to their storied criminal records. Prior to Von's death, rumors from diverse quarters emerged that the rapper was dating NBA Youngboy's ex-girlfriend and baby mama, Janice Michelle, after King Von posted images of them chilling and holding hands. Amidst speculations, King Von insisted that he and Michelle were only making music and had nothing going on between them. However, Von's denial wasn't any good for NBA Youngboy as he clapped back with an Instagram post captioned, "I'm gone, make sure my son f*** you daughter since you trolling #4KT #." But Youngboy didn't stop here and proceeded to do a song with Von's ex, Asian Doll. This act led to a myriad of tweets mocking the pair. That said, it's pertinent to note that during this beef, Quando Rondo, one of NBA Youngboy's artists, interjected with so much gusto than other NBA signees, as he and Youngboy shared a somewhat unbreakable bond. Shortly after the diss between both rappers, King Von downplayed any beef with this statement. "Ain't no rap beef and ain't no real beef unless somebody got shot or something." Barely a week after King Von released his debut album tagged Welcome to O'Block, his life and star-studded career would reach its climax. In the early hours of November 6, 2020, King Von tweeted his location as he was billed to do a show at Atlanta Opium. After the show, King Von took a detour to the Monaco Hookah Lounge. Quando Rondo was also at this location, leading to assumptions that someone tipped King Von about Rondo's location. In a video circulating the internet, King Von is seen just outside the nightclub, delivering a flurry of punches to Quando Rondo. This event results in an altercation between Von's and Rondo's crew that subsequently results in a full-blown shootout that saw Von on the receiving end of multiple shots. Although he was transported to a local hospital, the rapper succumbed to his injuries before the day ended. He was age 26 at the time of his death. After the shooting, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation stated that 2 individuals were killed while 6 were injured. One of the wounded individuals, a Quando Rondo affiliate named Timothy Leaks, aka Lul Tim, was arrested and declared the prime suspect. FBG Duck. FBG Duck was a rapper who was affiliated with the STL-EBT faction of the Gangster Disciples, GD Gang, whose rivals were the Black Disciples, BD Gang. It's vital to note that both sects started having fatal run-ins with one another after the death of GD's Shondell Tuka Gregory, who was shot and killed at a bus stop in January 2011 in retaliation for the death of a Black Disciples member tagged Edric Tuai Walker. The Gangster Disciples took Tuka's death seriously and resolved to inflict similar damage to their rivals, and this commitment would take center stage just 7 months later in August 2011. According to reports, O.D. Perry, popularly tagged O.D., was bike riding when someone, later discovered to be Gakira Barnes, approached and shot at him repeatedly on his neck, left shoulder, and back. Although he was taken to Stroger Hospital for emergency treatment, the upcoming rapper died some hours later. O.D. was a respected member of the Gangster Disciples YIC City faction operational on 6400 block of South King Drive. As such, it was no surprise they renamed it O-Block in his honor. That said, footage released after OD's death affirmed that the getaway driver donned an orange t-shirt.
That orange shirt, man, they got somebody in the car driving wearing an orange shirt, supposedly
It's a getaway driver, so.
Coincidentally, this was the same shirt color that FBG Duck was wearing on the day of O.D. Perry's murder. Although this fact doesn't offer 100% confirmation that the Flyboy group member was tied to the unfortunate incident, his perceived involvement put a target on his back, one that'll remain till his death. In the evening of August 4, 2020, FBG Duck was out shopping for a present for his son in Chicago when 4 individuals emerged from a pair of cars and rained shots to his chest, neck, and groin. This attack lasted 15 seconds and 38 bullet cases were found at the scene. After the shooting, videos of Duck laying on the ground and fighting for his dear life began circulating on the internet. He was subsequently transported to an area hospital and was pronounced dead some hours later. Although the police had no suspects at the time of Duck's death, they ran an investigation that revealed a can of worms. According to police informants, someone affiliated with the Black Disciple Street Gang had offered $50,000 to anyone who killed Weekly. However, to expedite action, the bounty was later increased to $100,000. The name of the individual who supposedly sponsored the bounty was redacted. However, a tipster offered some vital identifying information, stating that the individual had purchased personalized jewelry for several oblak. And going by this video from Icebox,
we got 12 production. 12 altogether.
Featuring King Von placing orders for these ornaments, it's glaring that he had a hand in FBG Duck's death. In October 2021, almost a year after King Von had been gunned down in Atlanta, a federal racketeering murder indictment came to the fore, accusing 5 O-Block members of killing FBG Duck. Names featured in the indictment included Charles Liggins, aka C. Murda, Kenneth Robertson, aka Kenny, Carlos Offord, aka Loss, Christopher Thomas, aka C. Thang, and Marcus Smart, aka Muwap. Just last year, a 45-page affidavit from the Federal Bureau of Investigation was unsealed, revealing evidence that led to the indictment of 5 O-Block members. According to the report, a car used in the shooting featured evidence implicating C. Murda. The document also showcases a warrant filed on October 1st, 2021 that sought authorization to scrutinize the cell phones used by Liggins, Muwap, and Loss prior to the indictment's release. Snap Dog. Snap Dog was born on December 7, 1993, in Detroit, Michigan. Growing up, he didn't have a smooth sailing life. Although his father was a big-time drug dealer that sometimes raked in loads of cash from daily operations, Snap Dog states that he fell off this curve, and that was when things went south for his family. The rapper lost his twin brother to street violence. However, it's vital to note that losing his twin brother awakened something in him. As such, he decided to deviate from street-themed activities and carve a legitimate niche for himself. This saw him venture into boxing to live his dead twin's dream. But at the age of 17, Snap Dog's street affiliation saw him on the receiving end of a charge that would have seen him spend a minimum of 25 years if he'd been convicted. Fortunately, he beat the charge and subsequently entered into the rap scene. Shortly after he made his debut in the hip-hop scene, Snap Dog made headlines after releasing the I'm Trippin' video on World Star Hip Hop. However, the video didn't gain traction due to the rapper's lyricism, but for showcasing the Detroit police trying to disrupt the video shoot. Regardless, Snap Dog remained unperturbed by their presence and went on with the shoot. That said, the Detroit-born rapper rallied on and showcased his mettle once more with his My Story single. This song was recognized by Chief Keef, who later announced that Snap Dog had become affiliated with the Glow Gang. At this juncture, Dog's value was skyrocketing by the day, and it wasn't any surprise when Lil Durk reached out to him for a collaboration. The partnership with the OTF boss paved the way for rap hits like Curve and Shooters. Although Snap Dog looks to have a great career on all counts, the rapper also has a beefy history. In 2018, Tekashi 6ix9ine called out Chicago rappers like Chief Keef, Lil Reese, and G Herbo. But shortly after this episode, he was seen talking with Lil Durk in an Instagram live video.
When I said that, I don't take none of that shit back because I feel if I do that shit. But when I said that, I addressed it to that in particular. Like, yo, blood, do something about it.
Lil Durk was seen beaming with smiles through the video, and although he later said that he wasn't aware that 6ix9ine had beefs with other rappers, he'd already incurred the beefy talons of Snap Dog. The rapper, who hailed from Detroit, wasn't too pleased with Lil Durk's actions, stating that the OTF founder shouldn't have dabbled into a beef that didn't concern him in the first place. His beef with Durk dragged on a bit, with Snap Dog blurting out these lines in an IG live video.
We can get in the ring, me and Dirk, nobody. No cameras, no nothing. So he can feel comfortable getting this whooping. Period.
Besides Durk, Snap Dog also had beef with Rico Reckless in 2017, after dissing each other on social media after Dog had challenged Reckless to a boxing match. Eventually, the Chicago drill artist traveled to Detroit to see Snap Dog and take him up on the proposed boxing exhibition. However, this matchup never saw the light of day. Snap Dog and Rico Reckless later made amends before the year ended. Still, in 2017, Snap Dog is seen in an Instagram live session on the streets with his crew. Here's he and those around him are screaming obscenities. These shouts continue for a while, and just when things seem to have died down a bit, Dog drops his phone, pulls out a gun, and lets out shots in quick succession for the whole world to see. Realizing this grave mistake, he quickly shuts off Instagram. But hey, the deed had been done. K-Flock, Kevin Perez, popularly known as K-Flock, is a 20-year-old rapper that burst onto the rap scene in 2020 and got catapulted into fame via his Shake It single released in the same year. With tens of Spotify and YouTube streams to his name, the Bronx-born rapper has become a well-known name in the industry. But that hasn't stopped him from having run-ins with his Opps virtually and in the real world. Before Raw G's tragically passed away in July 2021, he and K-Flock were known for their regular beefs on Instagram Live.
Are you high?
It's nothing on my stomach.
You want me to say I shot you with 1,600 views, right?
What?
However, the constant virtual back and forth with Raw Jeezy didn't seem to tickle K-Flock's fancy. As such, the rapper decided to up the ante by heading to Raw's neighborhood and letting the world aware of his presence via Instagram Live.
Hey, so it's about to get lit. Grabbed their basketball and started leaving.
In the clip, he makes derogatory remarks about the folks in the neighborhood and how they acted. Shortly after K-Flock left the scene, Raw G's hopped on Instagram Live, asking the rapper to return to the neighborhood as he and his crew were on ground in real time.
Somebody tag K-Flock. Somebody tag K-Flock. Nah, plan him come right back. Outside right now as we speak. You coming through hot and on live, block off your live so can't see it. Like, what's up?
After this incident, a video surfaced of folks loyal to K-Flock chasing after Raw G's on the streets. This scenario prompted K-Flock to diss Raw Jeezy in his song titled Power that saw him blurting out these lines. Rah rah, he saw me, he ain't let it clap. Like, ask him how much I threw back. Bow, bow, bow. However, PSA rapper wasn't the only one with access to a booth, as Raw issued a fitting response in his Real Facts song where he said, "Ayo KK, now let's talk about the facts. Anytime that they threw, I threw back." These lines from Raw G's affirmed the fact that regardless of what K-Flock threw at him, he was going to respond with the same energy. However, K and Raw's somewhat playful beef would come to an abrupt end on July 11th, 2021, as Raw G, whose real name was Ramon Gil Medrano, was shot dead while seated in an Uber by two determined gunmen riding on a scooter. According to the police, Ramon, who was affiliated with the 800 YGZ gang, was shot in the head and torso while he was in a cab parked on E178th Street and Valentine Avenue, Bronx, New York. At the time of his death, the police also suggested that his death might be retaliation for the murder of a 13-year-old who was fatally shot outside a cafe in the Belmont area of the Bronx, hours before Raw's death. Although all signs and police evidence point towards the fact that Raw GZ's death was gang-related, the rapper's family members denied his involvement in any gang activity. His sister, who was distraught after her brother's killing, had this to say. "He surrounded himself with good kids," she said. "I don't think my brother was a gang member. There has been a killing spree with young teenagers being killed by gun violence. So just because my brother was killed doesn't mean he was in a gang. His only crime was being in the wrong place at the wrong time." But Raw G's wasn't the only op that K-Flock, and by extension his affiliates, had caught in real time. There was a distinct incident where he was rolling around the YGZ hood and caught one of their members off guard, proceeding to threaten him. In the Instagram Live video that went viral, the rapper's seen in a car blaring out loud music and heard saying the following to the lacking op.
Gunning. Oh, why? What? Oh, why? I slapped the out you. Tell him 800 I said suck my you heard?
The video continues to a point where K-Flock and his crew proceeds to chase the op, who subsequently evades capture. Shaw EK. When it comes to New York rappers who've caught their ops live and direct, K-Flock is joined by another popular rapper, Shaw EK, Shaw Everything Killer. The Bronx rapper made it into the limelight with D&D, a 2020 release song that currently has over 13.4 million streams on Spotify. In July 2022, Warner Records signed Shaw EK, invariably paving the path for him to maintain the star-studded reputation he'd already attained. A month after his signing, he released the We Drippin' single featuring PGF Nuck. This track featured on Shaw EK's debut album tagged Face of the What, which was released in September 2022. And like most rappers on this listing, he had a turbulent childhood. Growing up in the Melrose area of the South Bronx, Shaw EK was on the receiving end of a gunshot when he was just 15 years old. Although it didn't prove fatal, this singular event saw him gravitate towards the rap scene and got him neck deep in street-related activities that'll see him chase down Opps years down the line. Without further ado, let me get you in sync with Shaw EK's live encounters with his opposition. Shaw Ek caught a guy that had dissed his gang walking home after after school and approached him. As seen in the video that made rounds online, Shaik confronted the op and asked if he was among those screaming Iwa, obviously lacking and without an iota of backup. The individual harassed by Shaik mouths some incomprehensible responses and keeps things moving. But in a jiffy, the rapper and his goons start chasing him with grab him shouts filling the air. But the op chasing act didn't end here. During filming for the Killing for Success documentary spearheaded by Vice, a fracas broke out as Shaik and his crew started chasing an op outside a courtroom. Thankfully, the area was characterized by heavy police presence and officers came to intervene before things spiraled out of control.
Shaik and all of his crew just ran after the boy, and next thing you know, police come out from nowhere.
After police intervention, Shaik still had loads to let out of his system and was caught saying, As Vice later learned, the confrontation stemmed from the fact that another drill artist had insulted Shaik's father in a diss track aimed at him. KTS Dre Landra Sylvester, also known as KTS Dre or Cutthroat Dreco, was born in Chicago, Illinois, back in 1990. Ganging was part and parcel of KTS Dre's blood, as he grew up in a gangster household. His father, Vincent Davis, aka KTS Vinny, an alleged member of the Gang Disciples gang, was killed in 2016 due to gang-related violence. KTS Dre also had a brother named Devin Davis, aka KTS Vaughn, who was fatally shot in 2015. For context, the KTS Kill to Survive tag used by Dre and his folks represented an alliance between the Pocket Town GD, Lakeside GD, and 075 Vice Lords. As such, it's no surprise that Sylvester latched onto the street life seamlessly. In reality, it was all he had and clung tightly to it. And before his death, KTS Dre had some run-ins with Opps that were captured live. KTS Dre was known for his beef with the NLMB, No Limit Muskegon Boys or Never, Leave My Brothers Gang. This rivalry was an offshoot of the hate the KTS had for NLMB for allegedly killing a certain Bassett back in 2008. After dissing those present, they proceeded to NLMB Cairo, coercing him to utter the words, rock.
Say rock! What? Say it. Hey. Ain't no unzipping enough, son. Say rock!
However, Cairo remained unfazed and refused to blurt out those words as they'd mar his street credibility and his loyalty to the NLMB gang. That said, Cairo keeping mum got KTS Dre infuriated as he delivered a punch that saw his op holding onto his jaw while seated on the ground. Moments after threatening and physically assaulting NLMB Kiro, KTS Dre and KTS Vaughn were out on the streets, and it wasn't long before shots rang out. However, it remains unclear who was doing the shooting and who got shot at. After the McDonald's incident, KTS Dre and NLMB Kiro hopped on Instagram Live and argued about who ran like a bitch during their first encounter.
You did get chased.
Who chased?
You chased kid before and you got your chased too.
It wasn't long before KTS Dre found himself behind bars for a gun charge. He served a 3-year sentence for this crime before he was released. However, he was in and out of jail for the next few years. In 2021, he was arrested for violating the bail conditions set on a previous case from April 2020. However, he was bonded out from Cook County Jail by his fiancée and was leaving the premises with his girl and grandmother when something tragic occurred. According to reports, the rapper was walking towards a vehicle when 2 individuals from a pair of cars shot in his direction multiple times. Taking 64 bullets to his head and other body parts, KTS Dre stood no chance and was declared dead when he was taken to the Mount Sinai Hospital. However, the rapper wasn't the only victim involved in this tragic incident. His 60-year-old grandmother took a shot to the knee, while an innocent female bystander suffered a graze wound to the mouth. Fortunately, both individuals were listed in good condition after they were admitted and treated at different hospitals. After KTS Dre's death, sources affirmed that he was indeed the target. Whether he was marked by the NLMB remains unclear. Nonetheless, his death brings so much sorrow to a family that had lost its head and 2 sons within 5 years. DaBaby and Cam Coldheart. Jonathan Lindale Kirk, who's professionally known as DaBaby, is an American rapper that rose to stardom after his debut album tagged Baby on baby hit streaming platforms back in 2019. This album included his huge single that peaked at a mind-boggling 7th on the Billboard Hot 100. On the flip side, Cameron Devin Hennigan, who went by the stage name Cam Coldheart before his death, was a North Carolina-based rapper signed to the Coldheart ENT record label. Although Cam Coldheart never got people listening to his releases in traffic, he managed to grab headlines occasionally. How? By beefing with DaBaby. Let's see how things went down between these two. Cam Coldheart and DaBaby had met at a Louis Vuitton store back in May 2019. While here, Cam Coldheart took his phone out and started recording himself taunting DaBaby, who was in the background looking through wares.
You a y'all look at this baby. That the baby in here talking some he walking up on me and shit like he about to do something. What you don't do? What you taking your shit off for?
Although DaBaby tried ignoring him at first, he decided to stoop down to Coldheart's level by doing his own recording.
Scared of what? The police in here. What? So scared, boy. Oh, I should make him go fire.
The back and forth continued until DaBaby moved closer to Coldheart. The Coldheart ENT signee perceived this as a threat and threw a punch at DaBaby. However, the Shooge rapper ducked and gave Coldheart a series of feisty punches that saw him lay down on the ground, clearly disoriented. After this event, Coldheart clapped back at DaBaby, telling the world that the rapper had jumped him alongside his bodyguard. He took his pettiness further by heading back to the Louis Vuitton shop where he was beaten and asked a security guard on duty to confirm this assertion. But this wasn't the first time that DaBaby had confronted an op. Back in November 2018, DaBaby was in a Walmart outlet with his then girlfriend Mariah Osborne and his 2 kids. While there, he was approached by a 19-year-old individual named Jalen Craig, who was accompanied by another individual called Henry Douglas. According to DaBaby, both individuals were staring at him in an unusual manner and acted like they were going to draw their guns out on him. As such, he acted in self-defense and shot Craig in the abdomen. The victim died on his way to the hospital. Although DaBaby was initially charged with murder, they were later dropped in 2019 and reduced to a misdemeanor revolving around carrying a concealed weapon, which the rapper pleaded guilty to. However, a video released in 2022 showed that DaBaby's side of the story was false, as it showed the rapper tackling Douglas moments before proceeding to fatally shoot Jalen. To date, he hasn't been indicted for this charge. From what I've seen from DaBaby's way of dealing with ops, don't you dare cross his path if you've got ill intentions. You might never live to tell the tale. Rappers will always be surrounded by controversy. It's a fact. If you love this video, check out one of the cards on your screen now for more of the same, albeit on a distinct controversial subject.